Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon if you're here in Australia. It could be good morning if you are somewhere else in the world. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Grant Herbert, and I am coming at you again today with some training from my professional services leadership program. I just want to pop in here every couple of weeks and just give you something that's going to help you to increase your influence, your income, and make a bigger impact in your career. Really love this to be interactive as possible. I do know that most people watch this on the replay. I've also set up a portal where you can go and get access to all the previous trainings as well. If that's something that you'd like, please let me know. But wherever you are tuning in or whatever time it is for you, welcome. And over the last few months now, we've been talking about the 9 crucial shifts that I have found that every leader needs to make. Every leader in professional services, doesn't matter whether you're just leading yourself, leading others, or leading the whole organization. These shifts are what I've found to be the most important of all the shifts that can be made with all the people I've worked with in the professional services firms all around the world. So you will also be aware, if you've been following with me, that we look at leadership beyond just when you have a team. So leadership is not just about, I need to get other people to do what I want them to do. There are 3 phases of leadership, and the first one is personal leadership, which is leading you. The second one is your professional leadership, which is getting results from your own efforts. And then you have people leadership as well. So we've been unpacking some of the personal leadership shifts. We went through identity, we went through intelligence, but today we're going to shift into the third area, and that is intention. So there is a workbook that covers this whole area of intention, and you can grab that in the comment below. If you can't find it, just hit me up, send me a message, and I will get it to you. But it's great to take some notes and make this something that you can implement. So what is this thing called intention? Well, intention is about, doing things on purpose and making sure that you're not in a rut, and that you're not just day-to-day seat of the pants mentality of, handling the next crisis. And by the way, that was me. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know, I asked myself the question, and what's this all about, all the time. But I didn't have a plan that my career fit into. If you've been with me for 10 minutes, you know that I totally don't agree with anything to do with work-life as the prefix. Work and life are not separate. So I'm not talking about work-life balance, any of those sort of things, but I'm talking about having a plan so that life fits into where you want to go, and the things that you're doing to get the results that you want are all based around your values, your vision, your priorities. All right, so let me just take you through, and as I said, I want this to be interactive. I'm looking at a camera doing this right now and looking at my screen as well to see people as they're coming on. I'll do my best to interact, but I definitely will come back and interact with those after the call if I do happen to miss any. All right, so let's have a look at what this shift is all about. This shift is all about going from being scattered, as I said, it's just, I'm just doing stuff. There's no real plan, there's no real destination, and day-to-day, seat of the pants crisis mentality, to being more planned, having a clear direction and knowing everything that you need to do, and in fact who you need to become to get there. It's about going from being unorganized to being on purpose. And getting all excited there, I'm clicking the wrong slide, but being on purpose and knowing what that purpose is. So it's not just doing stuff. There's a reason for doing it. All right, so in your workbook there, I've given you 3 circles like this Venn diagram, for us to have a look at what I call my intention framework. So anything that's in a framework works really well for me. It means I just need to follow what it tells me to do. So I want to unpack what this whole intention's about. In the, ones that are coming up, we'll go deeper on each of these, but today's all about just laying a platform around that. So the first area that we need to look at are our values and what we actually do value and what we stand for. The second area is our vision. What do we see in the future? And I know that that's challenging sometimes because we're just looking at the present. Can't see the forest for the trees, but vision is really, really important. And then there's your mission. What is your purpose for being? What are you here to do? And I'm not talking about in your career, I'm talking about overall. So knowing what your values are, what your vision is, and what your mission is vitally important. And as I said, I'm going to step through and help you to be able to work that out, because most people don't invest any energy in doing this. So when you've got your values worked out and you've got a vision, this is all about congruency. It's all about making sure that the vision you have actually is in line with your values. And I find when it's not, this is where people start to get disillusioned, where they start to not like themselves, where they start to think, well, hang on a minute, who am I becoming here? I'm changing for my career. So this is a really, really important step that I take my clients through. With the vision being set and having a mission, this is all about having a cause. This is all about being a part of something bigger than yourself. And then when your values are in line and you have a mission, this is what I call a calling. This is something that you would do if you didn't get paid for it, right? This is something that you are called, that you feel led to do. It's a part of you. It's a part of your existence, your reason for being. And that is all around, or that then becomes what your purpose is. All right. So what I want to do is just check in with you. Some of those things might be new to you. Some of those things you might go, yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that. And most people have, put those aside. They've, let them go because they're just stuck in the day-to-day of getting this done. I don't have time to look at my values. I don't have enough time to have a vision. I'm just looking here right in front of me. So I totally understand that. And I also understand that in the work that I do, working with thousands of people all around the world, just like you and just like me, right, is that when these things get out of whack, this can really throw you off path. It can hold you back. It can be a major roadblock to you actually getting where you want to go in your career, because it really can put things in front of you. It can put thoughts in your mind and an internal dialogue, and it can create behavior which is not congruent with you getting where it is that you want to go. So that's why I really want to serve you by giving you some grounding around this. And it's up to you whether you do anything with it. But I know for me, this was a major area that I had to work on. All right. So the first thing that we talked about there in that model, I just want to unpack a little bit today, and that's your values. You see, when the things that you do match your personal values, which comes out of who you are, then life's good and you feel satisfied and content, right? It's like the right pegs are in the right hole. It's all lining up. However, some of the challenges of not having an alignment in your personal values is that it becomes a little bit compartmentalized. It's like I feel like I'm one person at work and I'm a different person at home, and sure, we've all got to adapt to our surroundings and all that sort of stuff, but your values actually follow you around. So compartmentalizing and trying to be, who you need to be at work, totally different to who you really are, that can create some issues. The second problem I see is comparison. People who live in alignment with their values, they love to do what they do, right? But if people are consumed by measuring themselves against others, it might be that your values are telling you that you want more. So, it's easy to compare the perceived content in others, the fact that they're content. And by the way, most people put their best version of themselves out there for you to see, than to investigate, what's the deepest value for yourself and to pursue that for yourself. So trying to live other people's values and other people's lives because it looks better. And the third area is when it's conflicting. As I said, your values are what need to drive you for you to feel fulfilled, not just be successful. And in fact, if you've been with me a little while, you'll know the word success is so relative, right? And it's overused. So if things aren't in alignment, then that confliction really makes you feel bad about yourself, about your life, about your career, whatever it is. Now, all these three things lead to resentment, where you are blaming others, because it's a self-preservation technique, where you just resent the authority that's actually putting you in the position of not living out your values. You resent people at work. You resent people at home, or whatever it is. And blame shifting comes in. Life can be tiring, and there are respites that we look forward to. But if you find yourself in an eternal countdown, then you might be living outside your values. If you're just existing on a day-to-day basis. But there's some great news, all right? What I love to do is help people to shift from that. So if you're feeling any of those things, then that's okay. And I know I was. There is some great news, and there's a way to shift beyond that. The first thing is to get some certainty. When you develop your intention, when you get your values on track, you know exactly where you're going. You know exactly why it is that you're doing what you're doing. You have conviction, where if someone gets you talking about it, your passion comes out, and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going with that. And you're congruent, right? You're in alignment. It's like your car. You take your car in and get it serviced, and they normally ring you up and go, hey, it needs a wheel alignment. Because if the wheels aren't in line with where they need to be, then it takes you off the road. It doesn't go in the direction you want it to go. And that's a little bit like what we need in our career, and in fact, in all areas of our life. And when you get that, you've got an inner peace where you can just get on with it. Where, by the way, as I've said with everything that I do, it's nothing about being perfect. It's not a utopia. But you've got this inner peace that says, you know what? I'm on track. So to do that, you need to define what your values are. So all I want to do today is just lay this foundation and just give you an opportunity to be able to define your values. And as I said, weeks to come, we'll work on the other areas. But what are these things called values? Personal values. Your values are the things you believe are important in the way you live. And here's the thing. They determine your priorities. So for me, one of my greatest values is family. So therefore, my priority is making sure that in my limited bandwidth that I have, that I'm investing in my family, in my role as a husband, as a father. So personal values are what you believe are important. So let me just give you 5 key concepts around what these things are. And then I'm going to set you a task to go and set yourself some values or revisit them. The first thing is that, your values are like a personal GPS, right? They determine where you go. They point you in the right direction. They influence every decision that you make in life. They, like, cut the blue wire or cut the red wire. They're so succinct, and the consequence of getting that wrong can be catastrophic. But when you've got these values aligned, they influence your decisions in a positive way. They change over time. What you value will change. I remember as a young 8-year-old boy, all I wanted in life was a 911 black Porsche. And I even had this poster on the wall, and it had a picture of this young child next to this, next to this black Porsche, and that was it. That's all I wanted. So everything I was doing was getting me that Porsche. But I don't want a Porsche anymore. They're amazing. I love them, but it doesn't fit who I really am right now. I don't need that. So your values will change over time. So that's important as we go through this. They determine your priorities, as I said. I've had people say to me that if I was to take a look at your calendar and your cash flow, I'd know what your values are. And what they're saying by that is where you spend your time, where you spend your money, that's what really must be your priorities. But it's not always the case. Your true priorities may be left aside for various reasons, and that's when that misalignment happens and you feel like a fraud. And then number 5 is that we need to understand that there's ideal values versus actual. And there's got to be a process of you going through that and going, this is what I ideally want to value, but this is what is actually going on. And that's where you need to do a values check. So what I've given you is an exercise there for you to go through to clarify your most important values. And you can read all that and you can go through it. Because if you don't know what your values are, then you're not able to align them with anything. So intention is all about doing things on purpose. So what we've done today is we're laying that foundation of that purpose, which is your values. So moving forward, we'll have a look at the vision. We'll have a look at priorities, and I'll take you through some more things that you can go through there. But what I want you to do is invest a chunk of your calendar, of your bandwidth, in sitting down and go, hey, what do I truly value? And then being able to look at what it is that you're doing and go, wow, where is that out of alignment? And I guarantee that discovering that and doing something about that will help those feelings that you might be going through, those disillusionment, that, sense of, I don't know what I'm doing this for, comes from. So, hey, great to speak to you again. Drop some comments down below. Connect with me somewhere. If you want to get access to all those other videos, let me know as well. Hit me up, send me a message, do something. Carrier pigeon, I don't care. I'll get them to you because I really want to make sure that, because I have limited bandwidth, right? And I do lots of work like this in the Professional Services Leadership Academy, in professional services firms all around the world, but I can't get to everyone. So I want to make sure that even though it's not the full deal, I can share this with you. So join the conversation with me, and I look forward to hearing about your values should we get to catch up. I'll talk to you again soon.